Hey crafty friends, this is Nye with All Things Were Created. Today we are going to assemble our 3D briefcase gift card holder. As you can see, I have all of my pieces here. They are cut out and they are ready for gluing. I am going to be using my art glitter glue for all of my gluing. And I also have my bone folder here that I'm going to be using to make sure that my score lines turn out crisp and sharp. This is going to be one of those crafts that you're definitely going to want to make sure that all of those lines are sharp and crisp. You want to make sure that when you're folding on that score line, it's going to be completely perfect on that score line, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of 90-degree angles and we want to make sure that everything meets up just right. So I also have this one here. This was my prototype that I made. So you can see exactly what I'm talking about here with it. You're definitely just going to want to make sure that those lines are crisp and sharp. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this one here. I also made this green one out of cardstock, 65-pound weight cardstock, and this one's actually going to be using scrapbook paper. So hopefully this one will turn out just as great as this one. We're going to find out here as we're going along. Okay, so I chose this paper because I thought it had, the pattern of it was more like a briefcase with the leather, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes there. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so hopefully what you can see though is you can, hopefully through the camera, you can see my score lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come and use my finger here. I'm going to start with my center one. I'm going to bend this one down. I'm going to bend this one down as well here, and this third one. So I'm really just starting on one side, and then I'm going to take my bone folder and just really press it down here to make sure that that line is sharp. Again, let me move this one out of the way here. As I said, we really just want to make sure that all of these angles are at that perfect 90 degrees. And so you can see this one here. I'm going to go ahead and do this for all of my score lines. I'm going to use my bone folder once I get them down to just make sure that everything is just sharp there. And so you can see it right here when I go to bend the paper. It's just really turning out wonderfully. Some of that I think too is because I am using scrapbook paper here. When you're using the cardstock, you may get a little bit more resistance with the cardstock paper because it's a little heavier, but that's okay. Let me lift this one up here for just a moment, just to make sure I get all of that. Okay, so that's that side. And then, you know what, I think I might actually speed up the video here. So that way it's not going to turn out to be like a couple of minutes here of just me folding and scoring. Okay, so I'm going to speed up the video. Okay, so there we go. As you can see, I have all of the actual briefcase part here. I have all of those lines completely scored. What I'm going to do now though too is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to score some of my other pieces here. And these are a little bit easier because I can just use my fingers and really get those score lines down. These I cut out of cardstock as well, so the paper is a little bit heavier and a little bit firmer there. So this one will be my handle for my briefcase. And so again, I'm just using my fingers to get it right there on that score line. Same thing with this one. This is kind of like my decorative part of my briefcase. I'm just using my fingers here. I can put that down. I don't need to hold it. And just using my fingers to bend these here. I'm not too concerned about these being perfect, even though I know that they will be, but I'm not too concerned because these parts are going to get glued to the briefcase here. All right, so there's that. And then this part here is the center, which is going to go on the inside here. So that way my briefcase will stand up. This one though, because it's a bigger piece, I'm going to use my bone folder here and just kind of get that line sharp and crisp. Same thing with this one and bending that one. Let me just press this one down. Okay, so there we go. All right, this one got a little bit off here. Let me just push it up there. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, so time to start gluing now. All right, so I'm gonna glue this center part here. You can see the slots on my white cardstock here. This is gonna be where my gift card is gonna go. And if you think about it, we are going to want the gift card to slide in under the slots here. So I'm not going to glue behind here or behind here, so that way there's room for the gift card underneath. So I'm gonna add my glue, whoops, and just kind of add a little bit here. And then I'm just going to press it down, and you do want to make sure that you get it completely lined up. Remember, when you're gluing, you have about 5 seconds to shift things around there. And so this will be my insert that kind of stands up on the inside of my briefcase. So let's start gluing the briefcase now. Okay, so you have everything folded, and what we're going to want to do is just tilt yours sideways, and then we're going to come in and we're going to bend the briefcase like this. So that way there's a little bit of a thicker side to it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to glue this part as well by just adding a little bit there and a little bit here to this part. And then I'm going to sandwich these together and then press it down so it glues right there. Oh, you know, I think I wanted to change this a little bit, and I guess I didn't, but that's okay. It'll still work. Okay, so I'm going to fold it there. I'm going to do this same step on all 6 sides here of this briefcase. So again, I'm just folding it onto itself and I'm pressing it down. Same thing over here. Okay. And there we go. Now I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on the other side by adding my glue again to that part and then to the edge here, and then pressing it again. So the hard part, I think, with using this scrapbook paper and not cardstock is that now the inside of my briefcase is a different color, because my sample one that I made inside there, it's the same color as the outside, but this scrapbook paper is only has a pattern on one side, so I have the white for the inside, but that's okay too. Like I said, we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure about how sturdy it's going to end up being in the end, but hopefully it'll work. Okay, so this is my last part here. I'm going to add it there, and then again, just pressing it down. Okay, so now you can see these are my sides. This is my base part here, and then this is the opposite side. And again, I'm just pressing it down to make sure that it's all strong. What we're going to do now is we're going to glue the edges. So add a little bit of glue to the tab, and then really again take your time to make sure that you've got it meeting just right to form that 90-degree angle. Hopefully you can see that there. And same thing on the other side. We really want those 90-degree angles to be sharp. Okay, and so that's going to take one side, and yep, looks good so far. And then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite end here. So I'm just using my fingers to kind of start that bend. Then I'm going to add glue to the tab. You really don't need a lot of glue either. A little bit here will go a very long way. Hold it there between your fingers and give it a chance for the paper to bond and for it to become secure. And then do the same thing on the other side here. Okay. Oops, there we go. And then again, like I said, just hold it and give it a chance to dry and bond. Okay. And so now what we can see is the formation has already begun. So you can kind of see the shape right there, the same as the one that I made in the cardstock. I squeezed that one a little too tight there. And next what we're going to do is we're going to add the decorative part of it. So it doesn't matter what side you want to use to come on to start it, but what you're going to do is just kind of eyeball where in the center it's going to line up. Definitely you don't want to be over here like this because that doesn't look like the center at all, or even on the opposite side. Just kind of use your best judgment. It doesn't have to be perfect, again, but use your best judgment as to where you think that center part is going to be. Hold it with your fingers there once you find that spot. And let me do that. I'm going to place mine down a little bit more on my table so I can see it. And that looks good to me. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to add my glue right here and right here. And then I'm just going to press it down. Okay. And once I have it there, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to add the glue to the back. Now, these two spots here where you see the horizontal line, you don't want to add the glue there because that's how we're going to add our flap. So I'm going to go ahead and add glue just along the vertical parts here. And again, I'm going to take a moment and pull it over and just really making sure that it's lining up. I'm going to do the same thing, adding the glue to the bottom part now. And pressing it down again. Try to make sure that you're staying straight so that way when you come around to the other side, it meets, okay? Because if you get it off a little bit, then it might start to kind of end up over there, and you definitely don't want that to happen because then it won't meet and match up. So I can kind of see mine starting to form there. And I'm going to go ahead again and add some more glue. I think I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way to the end with this one here. Same thing on the other side. And I gave a little too much slack with my paper here. That's probably because I tried to do more than I should have. That's okay. Okay, so there we go. So you can also see now that we've got the spot there where we didn't glue, and that's okay. We want it to be like that because what we're going to do now is we're going to add our kind of belt that will close the briefcase here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, let's do it this way first. Again, we're going to eyeball. So you kind of want to figure out where in the center here it's going to be. So as you can see, that one's a little off. So I'm going to pull mine down here just a little bit more. That looks a little bit more in the center right there. And what you can do is pull it back, hold it, and then take your glue and add it there. Don't bend it too much, and you also don't want it to come out of the bottom here. Okay, so there, it's there. And then we're only going to add glue to this side of the briefcase, because what we want now is for when we go to close the briefcase, if you add glue to both parts, you're actually going to seal it and it won't open. So we only want to add glue to half, and then we're going to be able to slide this part right in there, and that will cause it to close just like that. Do you see? So only add the glue to this part of the briefcase, leave the rest of it open without glue. Okay, so now we're going to add the handle part. And what you're going to need is a pencil or a pen. And I forgot to grab one, but I have a paintbrush here. So I'm going to use my paintbrush. So I'm going to hold it in this hand. I have my, my score lines folded. But for this center part, I'm going to take it and come in here, and I really want to press hard and bend all of those fibers in the paper, because what we're going for is a bend in the paper to give it that handle appearance. So I'm really just kind of bending my paper here, using a lot of force and strength to get it going. So you can see I've really curled it right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my score line again. I'm going to fold it outward, because this is going to be my handle that's going to sit right there on top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add just a little bit of glue. So let me make sure that I'm not overlapping in any way. So this part of mine didn't meet when I was doing it, but it's all right because my handle's actually going to cover it just a little bit. So I'm going to add just a little bit of glue right here. And I'm going to press it down. And when you're gluing the handle now, what you want is for part of the handle to be on both parts of the opening of the briefcase. So I have it right there. And then press and hold and give it a chance to seal there and bond. And then come to the other side. Again, press and hold it. Add your glue. Just a little bit goes a long way again. And give it a chance to seal. And what will happen is the handle will actually cover the opening here of the kind of like design of the suitcase. And if you need to, when you're gluing the handle, just take a moment and get it lined up correctly. So you can see mine right there. And there will be a little bit of an opening underneath. And what will happen now is when we go to open it, we're just going to lift the belt up. And there we go. And we'll be ready now to add the center part here. So I have my insert from the beginning. What I'm going to do now is add glue to the bottom. Do you know what? Let me add my gift card first. So I have this gift card here. It'll go to Dad, because this is like a fun craft for Dad. A neat way to gift Dad a gift card for the briefcase. If he works in an office and he takes the briefcase during the day, then this is a fun one. So we're just going to add the glue now to the bottom here, both sides. And again, what you want to do is just kind of eyeball where in the center it's going to go. So mine's going to go right about there. You're going to press it down. And that's it. And then you can seal it back up. And there we go. I'm really glad that this one worked with the scrapbook paper. So you can see it. It's very neat. It's so cool. And this scrapbook paper is really unique because it really does give that leather appearance. Okay, so now for the final touch of the details, which these are just the little like semicircles, or half circles, I should say. And I'm just folding these right along the score line with my finger. These are just going to be like the accent pieces that go on the briefcase. And so I'm using my finger here. And what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to one side. And then I'm going to come along and put it right at the edge on the corner. And remember how I said in the beginning that we really wanted to make sure our 90 degree angles there were working? So this is where it's really going to come into play for us to be able to visualize and see it. And so you can see I'm adding more glue to the other side. And that was a lot of glue there, but a little bit will go a long way. And then I'm just going to add it right on the corner. I'm going to do the same thing to the back of it here. And we're just about finished with this one. And so, oh, I'm really excited for this one. It turned out really cute. And it's kind of fun. So, there we go. And like I said, you do want to kind of press and hold it and make sure that the paper has a chance to bond together. And that finishes it. So here's the back, here's the front with the latch. And then when you go to open it, there's your gift card. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.